agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first-class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Fifth Street Sports here on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon in Las Vegas. We are on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network. You can also find us on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk, and, of course, on Twitter at Fifth Street Sports. Well, it's about 1:06 in the afternoon here in Vegas, and we're going through a cold front. I think we're in the 60s, so that for Vegas is a cold front for us. But yesterday's show, we had a really good show, which you can always watch it on our archives. If you go to youtube.com or Fifth Street Sports, you can see it. We had a great show with Mr. Billy Crackman. Hopefully we can get him on as a regular because he's very interesting. But I have my co-host, Oklahoma Brian, in the house telling us that he believes Mr. AWB, America's Worst Bettor, he's back on his game, Brian.
He's on his game, which for us means losing. That was nice. He took the Packers last night and looked like he might have been on the right side for a short period in the first quarter, but pretty much after that they were trailing and struggling to win the game. I kind of think they got a really lucky break with the refs on that final drive. But yeah, good old America's Worst Bettor, back to losing where we need him to be so we can fade him, and hopefully he'll have a bunch of losers for us this week.
You know, and that's interesting because he's been on, for himself, he's probably been on one of his biggest tears of all time. I think he went 7-2 or 8-3, which is huge for him. But we got to tell the folks now, with basketball season coming up and everything, when this guy gets back on his game, it is unbelievable fading this guy. So don't lose track of fading AWB. He went on his once every, it's like a presidential term. Once every 4 years, he'll get on a little mini streak, but it doesn't last long.
No.
But what was I going to say? Brian, what did you think about Crackman yesterday being on the show?
It was a lot of fun. I like that guy a lot. So maybe we'll get him on in the future. I'd like to get him on as often as possible. It was a lot of fun.
Me too. I mean, he's really interesting, and he's got great stuff. I'd love to make him a regular once or twice a week. And remember, you can always go to billycrackman.com. That's his Twitter handle. But, guys, we're getting ready to take our break. So when we come back, it's Oklahoma Brian and Frank Perez, Fifth Street Sports. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're right here waiting for you.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing new author submission kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
Being a new parent means every high and low you can imagine. But Evos can make it all easier with a baby monitor you can trust. Go to myevos.com, that's MYEVOZ.com, to see how Evos can be the eyes and ears of your nursery. Evos works with your smartphone to provide a live audio and HD video connection to your baby anytime and anywhere. On a date, at work, away on business, even serving your country overseas, Evos helps you never miss a moment. Whether your baby is with a sitter, your partner, a grandparent, or a friend, you'll be right there too. And with unique features like smart alerts that know the difference between a barking dog and your baby crying, extensive sleep tracking data, and state-of-the-art security features for your peace of mind, Evos is the smart baby monitor for connected parents. And enter the code SPORTS at checkout for $20 off. That's myevos.com. MYEVOZ.com.
Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
Hi, folks. We're back here, 5th Street Sports on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network, also on the American Forces Network. We want to say thank you guys again, like we do every day. We pray for you, and we hope we can take, 1 hour out of your life and make it a little bit more interesting. Brian, in between the break, I got a little text sent to me about this ADIDAS thing. Now, I have almost no clue about this, but I know that this is right on your radar here. What do you got anything for the folks here on this ADIDAS thing?
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite stories. I think we touched on this last week, maybe a little bit, but it's gotten way better since then. So this trial, if you haven't been following this trial, you're missing one of the absolute spectacles of the of the fall. It's not getting nearly as much coverage as it should, but to kind of clarify what's going on, this is basically a trial involving sneaker employees of ADIDAS in particular, and here's basically what's going on. There is these guys have been charged with corruption, and essentially they've been caught giving money to high school recruits and trying to steer them to certain Division I colleges. Now, importantly, we're hearing a lot of juicy details come out. This is just kind of collateral damage that's come out in the process of this trial, and there's a lot more to come, believe me. But essentially, these guys, it's hard to tell the story without laughing, but these guys are being charged with giving crazy amounts of money to these high school players, and their defense is not, we didn't do it. No, their defense is, we did it, but here's the catch. We didn't break any laws. We broke a ton of rules. We broke all the NCAA rules, that we could, but we didn't actually break any laws. And so the federal government has kind of said, well, no, you actually did break a law. You defrauded these universities by making their players ineligible. Kind of a weird legal, I'm not sure how it's going to be ruled. It's not really important. What's really crazy is in the process of trying this trial, there's a series of witnesses that have immunity that have come onto the stand and told just crazy stories about how much money was given to particular players and all of the details. And if you're a head coach of a major Division I college basketball program, I can't imagine you're getting a lot of great sleep right now, because these guys at any moment they could be thrown under the bus. There was a really funny thing that happened yesterday. This one particular guy that works for ADIDAS, he was on the stand and he was talking in particular about his relationship with Bill Self at the University of Kansas, and they were really kind of probing this guy, both sides, both the prosecution and the defense. And he, among the things that came out were these text messages where he would say things like, or Bill Self would say to him, "Hey, are we good?" And this guy would text back, "Call me when you're alone." And then the guy, a few minutes later would call. They talked for like 5 minutes, and it's just priceless stuff. There's nothing directly, let's say, that implicates Bill Self, but the circumstantial evidence is starting to really, really mount, not just for Bill Self, but for a ton of other coaches. So I don't know.
So let me ask you, like, if a high school kid like received payment, whatever, to go to one of these, does that make him ineligible now if he's guilty?
That's right.
Cannot, but for how long?
Yes.
Is it for a year or?
Well, potentially. Well, remember, these guys they're not looking for more than a year. These elite players are basically one and done players. So if they lose a year of eligibility, what's left after that? So the guy that was at the centerpiece of this, a guy named Brian Bowen, he was caught receiving $100,000 from ADIDAS. And he ended up just saying, "Screw it, I'm not even playing college basketball." He went to Australia. He's playing in Australia now. You'll see him in the NBA next year, I guess. One of the funnier stories that came out yesterday is a guy that plays for Kansas named D'Souza. They were going to pay him the next day, but they weren't able to pay him because these indictments came down. He was actually saved by the fact that right before they were about to pay him, all of these indictments came down. And what's funny about his particular story was he, according to the testimony yesterday, he had already received I think $60,000 from the University of Maryland, from a booster and sneaker companies to go to Maryland. He decided he wanted to go to Kansas. So not only do they have to pay him, but they had to give him the money to give back to the Maryland boosters. So
is he going to be eligible because he took the first 60?
They don't have any proof that he took anything up until now. So that this is just coming out, during the trial. We'll see.
So every kid that had the potential to be one and done and took money and now cannot go to college. So is the NBA rules that if you bypass college and turn pro in another country, you can come back and play NBA?
That's correct. You just have to be out of high school for 1 year. Your graduating class has to be 1 year out of school. And trust me, that rule will not be around much longer. It's already being challenged in the courts. But that's, there was a point where players just went straight from high school to the NBA, and the NBA didn't quite like the taste of that. They kind of wanted to push these players away for at least a year. So that was their solution.
Now,
And
didn't like LeBron was straight from high school, and Kobe, right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys.
Yeah, that was a different era. That rule didn't exist back then.
How about Carmelo Anthony? Was he straight from high school too?
No, he went to Syracuse.
Oh, that's right. Carmelo went. So let me ask you. So now we know football takes you to, I call it, in Major League Baseball. Let's say you're a 18-year-old senior for a high school and you're great. I mean, phenomenal, just off the charts. Can you go right to Major League Baseball the next year, or what's the rules there?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people say that this rule is quasi-racist. That the average, we're talking about stereotypes here, but that is the stereotype, that the average white kid that's a baseball player, we somehow are not turned off if he wants to go straight to baseball. Of course, baseball has a thriving minor league system, so you're not going to actually see the kid in a major league uniform for many years. But you could take that a step further, Frank. You got guys coming out of the Caribbean that haven't even finished high school, that are 16, 17 years old. Actually, we never really frequently know how old they really are. But in the case of the NBA, it's 1 year out of high school. And,
so let's just say, for all phenomenal sake, a kid's a senior in high school. He's got a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, a great slider, just off the charts. Where he's not even, this kid is so good, he's not even going to go to single or double A baseball. He's going to go straight to the majors. He can do that. But now an 18-year-old kid that's phenomenal, a great jump shot, unbelievable defense, everything else, he cannot go to the NBA the next year?
He cannot go to the NBA.
I don't get that. I mean, really, that is kind of a little bit racist, because we know, come on, the majority of basketball players are African American, especially in that kind of thing, right? That why a kid shouldn't have the same ability as in baseball, a kid can go right to the pros. Why can't he in NBA?
Yeah, these rules are making for absolutely absurd decisions on the part of people to get around them. Not to jump around too much, but in football, I don't know if you've been following the quarterback at USC this year, right? He left high school a year early, graduated a year early, so he could be suited up and ready to go for USC. But his story is even crazier than that. To be competitive in high school, his parents did the exact opposite. They made the kid repeat 8th grade. He took 8th grade twice, didn't fail it, was a good student, but they held him back to do a second year of 8th grade so he could be competitive to get the starting job in high school.
So a junior high red shirt. A junior high red shirt.
That's exactly what it was.
So it's a junior high red. That's unbelievable.
And he's not the only one. I know, but he's not the only one. It's insane.
But what kind of a jerk job is this? It's like, I remember those some of those cities that when they legalized gambling, like in Mississippi and everything, legalized gambling, but you got to be on the water, so you had to build a jerk job riverboat, to be able to gamble. Come on, now if you're gonna, why would you? Well, gosh, we got to go on a break over here. Geez, Brian, when we come back, let's finish this up because I got a great angle on this, and I know you're gonna like it. 5th Street Sports, Oklahoma, Brian, Frank Perez. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Call the CPAP hotline now. 800-430-4234. 800-430-4234. That's 800-430-4234. Copays and deductibles apply. Supplies are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices? Can't get a business loan? Have no equity? Bad credit? Or maybe no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors right now. AmeriFactors will give you cash for your invoices and there's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your account receivables, and if those clients don't pay on the invoices, we take the loss. We give you funds based on your account receivables, not your credit, and 98% of all applicants are approved. It's that simple. With AmeriFactors, there's no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the funds up front, then we wait for your customers to pay us. Fund your business today. Call AmeriFactors right now.
800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. That's 800-847-1183.
Hi, folks. We're back here on 5th Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez, joined with Oklahoma Brian. We are also on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Network, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. So, Brian, when we finished off the last segment over here talking, we were on the subject of players, high school players getting paid during this ADIDAS trial. Oh, wait a second. Before we go any further, we got a thought from John and Marie Lilly. Hi, guys. Give me some thoughts on my Falcons this week. All right, Brian, why don't you fill that in for Jonna there?
Boy, John Marie can catch your attention. You could be in the middle of a thought. And
yeah, she's good.
John Marie? Yeah, okay. All right. So Falcons are the Monday night game this week. It's an interesting game. They're playing the Giants. They're around a 5.5, 6-point favorite. This game's really interesting. So I'm assuming that Eli is still playing because that's the last I heard. I'm not looking at an injury report right now, but there was some speculation after the last Giants game that he might be sitting. If you have that info, Frank, that's great, but I'm pretty sure he's playing. I don't really like either one of these teams, but the Falcons did look a lot better this past week, better than they have. And, my first thought would be Falcons, but, curious what you think. I know the Giants are famous for whatever you think that they're going to do one thing, they do the other. They're like, they have the personality of a cat. My thought would be Falcons.
So Jonna, now it looks like Jonna's in the service there in Atlanta. It looks like she's in the military from the photos. But Jonna, so we don't know what to tell you. I mean, it sounds to me like you go to all their games because it seems like you go to all the Falcons and Hawks games from the stuff she's been typing in. So Jonna, we would lean towards the Falcons, but watch out because this Eli wakes up at any time. I mean, this guy owes me a ton of money. If I had to bet, I would take the Falcons. That's what I would do. But Brian, getting back to this high school thing. So now you're going to tell me so that a kid gets enticed, especially some of these kids, they come from maybe some of them don't come from a lot of money and you entice a kid with 50, 75, 100K to take it. All of a sudden theoretically, you just ruined his chance to go to a college or an MBA, which I think the MBA thing's a jerk job because the kid is going to be one and done. Why do you want to put the kid into a college? He's not going to pay attention anyways. I mean, just let him come out of high school like everywhere else if he's talented enough and start making money. Don't you think it's hypocritical?
Tough. Of course it's hypocritical. And they're only the NBA is looking out for, they're not looking out for the interest of these high school kids. They're looking out for their own interest. And they made a business decision. I don't think it was might have been a smart decision business-wise, but I think it's going to backfire on them ultimately. They made a decision that they didn't think that they thought it wasn't appealing to the average American consumer who watches their product to want to watch 18-year-old kids out of high school. They just didn't like the look of it, and anything they could do to kind of push it back a year. 2 years would have been unrealistic, so they decided to push it back a year. Colleges were happy to get the one and dones, at least the type of colleges that appeal to one and done players. But nobody's really looking out for the interest of these players because, let's face it, is it really meaningful college that these guys are? I mean, essentially they're putting them in the easiest classes they can come up with just to maintain eligibility. And in the spring semester, the kids don't even have to pass those classes. It's essentially just the fall semester. Can they put them in 12 hours of BS, the easiest classes on campus, the most tolerant faculty on campus? If the kid can play and you know what, and then they're trying to act like they care, like we care if he goes to college. It's a meat market. If you can hit a 15-foot jumper, come on, here's your signing bonus, let's go. So that's the ADIDAS thing. Now, Brian, I got a really cool thing. I've been reading this legal sports report. Last month in September in New Jersey, remember they barely started. They handled $184 million and kept and retained $24 million. Is that like unheard of numbers? Yeah. What does the theoretical hold come out to? That sounds.
I think it's like 13 and change, almost 13.5%. And Vegas is holding 4 or 5, 4.5, 5, 6% at the most. They're holding unbelievable numbers.
It almost doesn't make sense. How is it possible they could be holding 13%?
Yeah, unless more than that. People are laying 13%.
I mean, that's not going to continue. To me, without digging too deep into the numbers, I would have to speculate that there's a lot of parlay play in there, which typically has a higher hold for the house.
Right.
And they're charging maybe a little bit more juice. That's maybe a little bit more than 10 cents juice. A lot of props. And
Right.
I think you were even telling me recently that there were like Canadian football games where they were making you lay what, like 130 each way?
Yeah, that was at the very beginning at the Meadowlands. I went to a lunch with some of the big sharp guys when they first came out. They were just acting like they were the only thing that's ever going to be in town. But here's the thing. Now the state received in New Jersey $2.6 million in revenue. They just started. I'm with you. I also think that it's so raw of a market. It's almost like when poker first started in Vegas big time 25 years ago. There's so much cash and it's so raw that they're betting bad teasers, parlays. How about this? How many of these touts and services that are giving these players really bad information are just getting all these rookies and novice players out there shipping it in on bad sides,
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting theory. So you think that it could be tout malpractice?
Yes, come on. In a fresh territory with all that cash back east, 70 million people around New Jersey, it's all legalized. I think there is. I think that there's a lot of tout malpractice going on, brother.
If The Sopranos was still a TV show, what would Tony Soprano's role be in the legalized betting in Nevada? Would he own a tout service, or would he try to get in on the?
I think Tony would own the tout service, the book, and give you opposite plays. And if you didn't pay, he would charge you juice or take a piece of your grocery store or your pizzeria or whatever. Hey, you guys, hang on. We got breaking news here now. Here we go. Breaking news. You know what that means? That means it's America's worst bettor coming in. And you guys, he's back on track. He had the Packers last night. Started off with a loss. I think it's time to really start. This is what we've been waiting for, basketball season. Here it is. AWB bets number 335, Alabama minus 28.5. I think they're playing Tennessee. Brian, what do you think about this guy? Now he's laying 28.5 on the road at Tennessee, brother. What do you think of that?
Wow. Well, it's the third Saturday in October, so we know that's Alabama, Tennessee. He has bet Alabama how many weeks in a row now? I think this is the fourth. I think every week he bets Alabama, right?
Every week, and he's been on or off by half a point or a point.
Half a point. So what did he lay? 28.5?
Yeah, 28. He's not going to wait for it to get to 28. He's going to just jump on that 28.5.
Boy, how much do you want to bet this thing closes 27.5 and watch it land 28?
How many Alabama games have been off by a half a point or a point the last 3 or 4 weeks? Right on the number.
Yeah, I'll throw out a little tip on Alabama while we're talking about Alabama. It's not rocket science, but there's definitely something to this. I don't know if you watched the Alabama game last week. Tua came out in the third quarter. He had he's basically been wearing a knee brace for several weeks. He's got a sore knee. There's nothing, from what we're told, there's nothing structurally wrong with his knee, but it gets sore from time to time. As a precaution, they took him out early in the third quarter, and they brought Jalen in. When that happens, this team is such a different team, tempo-wise, in terms of the interactive totals. If you see that happen again, and I suspect it's going to happen again, I mean, his knee's not going to recover instantly. I can see a scenario where he plays less minutes in this next game. When that happens and Alabama has the game under control, boy, interactive under is such a strong bet. And maybe you want to just play it at halftime. Second half unders have been phenomenal all year for Alabama as well. And those apply whether Tua or Jalen is quarterbacking in the second half. But something to keep an eye on.
But wouldn't you think that with a backup quarterback, he gets his shot to get in there, that the team would be all, hey, come on, this kid would be like, I want to show my stuff. Why does it seem to be on such a different tempo and pace?
Yeah, that's a great point, because when you see that same phenomenon, for example, in preseason football, right? When you're handicapping a preseason football game and you want to bet the total the one thing you're looking for is there a deep rotation of quarterback, right? Whatever you see, the second string or the third string quarterback is quality quarterback. With big football teams, usually that's the impetus to go over, right? That's usually what makes them go over. In this case, though, Jalen's just such a different tempo player. They hand the ball off, they run clock. He's very, very careful. He typically doesn't make mistakes or turnovers, but he also doesn't have those 70-yard plays where they score in one play. I don't have the data in front of me, but I think Alabama's averaged a score in the first 30 seconds the last 4 or 5 weeks. If you've been watching, it's always one big play to start the game. It's just kind of indicative of the explosiveness of the offense with Tua.
It is. Now, now be careful in this game, because I was looking at their schedule. So now, like you've said, this game is called the third Saturday in October, and they're at Tennessee. They should handle Tennessee. But remember what happens. I think next week is a bye. Remember what happens the week after next. That's time
November
to go down.
3rd.
And that's night game in the Swamp in LSU. That's a huge game. This game could be a really big spot,
Don't call them the Swamp. I think you're offending a bunch of people in Louisiana calling it the Swamp. Swamp is in Gainesville. Death Valley is in except for Kurt. Sorry if you're listening, Kurt. No offense. Kurt's from Clemson.
Guys,
they claim to be the real Death Valley.
Guys, we'll be right back. Hold that thought, Brian. Fifth Street Sports. Don't go anywhere.
But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-426-3569. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-426-3569 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-426-3569 to see if you qualify. That's 800-426-3569.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Fifth Street Sports, we're back with Oklahoma Brian and Frank Perez. Hey, we were just talking about. Oh, by the way, I wanted to remind if Billy Donlin or Jimbo Mullins are listening, you guys send in your addresses and your shirt sizes so we can mail those out to you because you did win the 3 in a row and you got a shirt coming. Also, by the way, to Billy Donlin, the only bad thing is that your shirt's probably going to get drop shipped. It doesn't come to us. But if we had it actually here in the house, Billy, I would include a bottle of Pepto-Bismol or Tums. So every time, like, you bet against me in those big games, you could start taking that at halftime, like in this Jacksonville game. You could have started with the Pepto-Bismol right around the middle of the second quarter, maybe had added a few Tums around the third quarter. But, Brian, when we were getting back to this, what we were talking about was in this NBA routine,
Right.
how ridiculous it is. But now on the more positive side, since the NBA tips off tonight, I got one really good angle that I like on my season win totals. And tell me what you think of this. The Dallas Mavericks are 34 plus 128 on the over. Now, would you agree that this team is not that horrible of a team? And with this Haralabob thing coming in with the analytics, with Cuban and the whole deal, this guy could turn it around. This team could be a 25-win team or a 50-win team. What do you think of that?
That's pretty ambitious.
You think so?
I think so. I unless Haralabob's going to suit up, and I don't know that would help either. Man, when you see a price like that, usually it means the price has been hammered to the under. I actually have a friend that works for the Mavericks, and I guess they're back. I'm sure they're back because there's season opens tomorrow. I know that they took a trip to China last week, and there was some kind of, I don't know if it was a foodborne illness, but the entire team was sick, really sick. I'm sure hopefully they're better by now. I'm kind of curious. We'll see if I can get some insight into that tomorrow night. But in terms of, no, you know what? I don't particularly like the Mavericks, but Rick Carlisle's a great coach. I haven't liked them the last 2 or 3 years. And they always exceed what I think they're going to do. Right. So, yeah, maybe that's I don't know.
But, Brian, speaking of exceeding, I know that, listen, guys, on the Fifth Street Sports, to all of our viewers and listeners, Brian has about 2 or 3 annual treats, kind of like Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July. That's like in the Pro Bowl, right after the All-Star break. These are one-time events. Brian, let's give them a really, really good treat and an angle on what I think is one of your specialties, one of your really good ones. We're going to release it on Fifth Street Sports, and that's the ring game.
Yeah. Okay, the ring game was one of my favorite angles in all of handicapping. Here's basically the premise of what's going to happen tonight in Golden State. Golden State is your defending world champions. The game's going to start out in terms of the a pregame shoot around. It's going to be the same. They're going to shoot. They're going to bring out the racks of balls. They're going to warm up like they normally do, and then all of a sudden, they're going to stop, and they're going to have a ring ceremony. And it's total garbage. I mean, unless you're the mother or wife of one of these players, big snooze fest. But the point is, it's 20 or 30 minutes of not playing basketball, of not doing everything. The opponent has to go sit on the opponent has a choice, actually. They can sit on the bench and watch these guys get their rings, or they can go back to the locker room. It's about 50-50. Some teams like to do it for motivation, like to watch the opponent get their rings. Others say, that's it, I'm out of here. I'm going back to the locker room for 20 minutes. But the point is, nobody's warming up. Everyone's completely stone cold, not warmed up once they finally start the game in 20, 30 minutes. And the shooting is usually horrendous when they finally start the game. So what I'm getting at is under makes a lot of sense in these ring games, especially first quarter under, first half under, and it moves every year. And it's like somehow people figure it out, 20, 30 minutes before the game starts. A game right now is 220.5. It's already been announced that Westbrook's not going to play, and he's a big factor in terms of tempo for Oklahoma City. If I had to guess, I'd say this game probably closes at 218, maybe even lower. Freebie here. It's Christmas in October. Under is a play on this game. Grab it now.
Now, what about the opposing team, not the non-ring team? How do they usually fare in this spot?
I think it's a great spot for it. Now, Granted, I would rather have Westbrook in the game, because he's such a competitive personality. You've got the issues between Durant and Westbrook going, but he hasn't been cleared to play. He's not going to play tonight. And Steven Adams might not play either. He'll be a game time decision. Nevertheless, there's going to be great value on Oklahoma City, especially the first quarter. These defending champions love the spot where you see a defending champion. They're a 4.5-point favorite in the first quarter, Nick. That's absurd. This is like this is a first quarter. Either team could win this game, could win this first quarter, I should say, and game too, but really the first quarter. So if you get a chance to take 4.5 on Oklahoma City, I think it's a great bet. That line actually could go up because I think as people get home from work, put on their slippers, turn on the TV, and realize Westbrook's not playing, I think the actual game line could go up, which will make the first quarter go up. So I think there's great value in Oklahoma City in the first quarter. The under in the first quarter, all forms of under, and maybe think about throwing in some Oklahoma City first quarter money line if your book offers that.
I like that. That's got to be at least 220. Also, one thing I wanted to touch to our listeners today because we got some good. Hang on a second. We got Rockford coming in. Hey, you guys, it's the Rockford Files coming in. Wow, we got the music. I love this Rockford music because at least it gives us on alert. I hate missing this guy's stuff. So let me see what Rockford's got in the house. Okay, Rockford picks. All right, 404 LSU minus 6.5. Write it down. Rockford's first pick of the week, game 404, Louisiana State University minus 6.5 LSU against Mississippi. All right, Rockford, you're down, buddy. Anyway, so Brian, I wanted to talk just real briefly because today, I don't even know if the game started or not. Boston was at the Houston Astros. I don't think the game has started, right? It was a 2 o'clock start here Pacific. Invaldi against Keuchel. Right? Okay, Keuchel. Right. Oh, it did start already?
No, it has not started. It starts in
has not. Good. Minutes. Good, because if you got a chance to get down on it, we see some really good spots in this for Keuchel. Houston at home. When I last checked, it was minus $1.22 at home against Boston. Guys, we got a couple of really sharp baseball bettors, really like Houston. I think we're going to put this on the Fifth Street Advantage. If if anybody goes to our website, fifthstreetsports.com. But we like the Houston Astros minus 122. Keuchel at home over Invaldi.
I'll be pulling for him.
Well, heck yeah, we're going to pull for him. So, wow. So we had yesterday's show, it was funny how when Crackman was talking, he was telling us about the huge lines in these sports books on a random Saturday in October. Just how big is this legalized sports gambling going to get, Brian?
Yeah, it's crazy. And you wonder when the dust settles, where is Las Vegas going to be in terms of relevance in the sports betting world? I really wonder, and I wonder if they're going to regret taking such a defensive stance like they have over the past few years. I think there was a point in time where we were convinced that Vegas didn't want to take a bet, that that the sports books were simply there for tourists if they wanted to make a bet. If your insurance agent from Iowa wanted to go put a couple $100 on, a futures bet, or it was there, but they didn't want serious money, and I kind of think that's a mistake. I think that we have the possibility of Vegas really being bypassed in terms of the mecca of sports betting.
And you know what? I love my city, but it's all your fault, Vegas. You guys were here for a long time. You used to have really top-notch, sacked up guys that had big sacks, bookmaking. They did the right thing. You had plenty of warning. You had information to get your product caught up, to have sharp sportsbook managers on top of your lines, taking big bets. You had many years. Now all of a sudden these guys are all coming in from all over the country, from back east, guys that are hungry, guys that care, guys that have money, and they're going to take away all your business because you've had all these big, fat, sloppy guys in suits sitting behind the counter. But, it's like they're doing you a favor when they get up to approve a $2,000 bet. This is what you get. See, if I would have been Vegas a long time ago, I would have done like the Frank Abagnale thing on him. Remember that movie, Catch Me If You Can? This guy was a counterfeiter and everything. Well, you know what? Right. You know what they did?
I love that movie.
Yeah, me too. Well, you know what they did? They hired him. He does all the watermarks, does all the checks, the fraud. He's the top guy in the country. Vegas should have I would have been in Vegas recruiting all these offshore guys that got arrested, that got this, that got in big trouble, that ran big, huge sports books out here and got either arrested or thrown out. I would have hired them.
Yeah. So, small trivia question. That guy, Abigail, actually, when he retired, he moved to Tulsa and lived like just a few blocks away from where I live.
Oh, really?
Small world. Yeah, and while we're on obscure trivia involving Tulsa, the previous game you just mentioned, Keuchel, the pitcher for the Astros, also about another couple blocks from where Abigail, with the guy you just mentioned. So small.
Wow. So
world,
Frank
right?
Abigail acts. So he's not working for the government doing watermarks or doing any security.
No, he has a security company. He lives in, I think. Actually, know some people that know this guy. I think he lives in Charleston, South Carolina now. His kids have graduated. His kids all went to high school in Tulsa, went away to college, and he moved to Charleston about 5-10 years ago.
Good for him. But even the casinos. I remember a guy that used to be a really good. He used to be a really good card cheat, and he would actually cap his bets. He was phenomenal with his hands. Steve Forte, and he used to give on classes on cheating in the casinos and everything.
I know who he is, sure.
Right. Finally, he's so good. You know what they did? They hired him for security, for the eye in the sky. Why didn't these Las Vegas sports books, when they knew sharp money was coming in and the offshores were getting big and sharp, why didn't they hire or try to recruit some of the guys, some of the sportsbook managers, or some of the big guys to run their sports books out here? It would have set a trend. Like, wouldn't you have wanted to hire like a cast off from Pinnacle or from Chris or from Grande, one of the big sports? I would have recruited for that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's essentially what made Pinnacle, right? Wasn't Pinnacle kind of a Ocean's 11 of the best bettors and the best bettors and bookmakers in the world?
Yeah,
and worked for them.
Instead, they had these old school guys, never caught up, scared of taking bets, watching everything. I would have. So Vegas, you had a huge window, a huge lead on these guys that are now coming in all over the country, and they're going to come in sharp. They're going to come in hard. There's lots of money. And now when it starts spreading out west, it's going to be just like when you see a stage 3B tumor. It's spreading and it's metastasizing. And when it starts coming in, like New Mexico started today, California's on the bill. If Arizona gets it in, and Wyoming up to the top in Oregon, buddy, you're going to feel like the walls of Jericho. They're closing in.
I think Pennsylvania started a couple weeks ago too, right?
Yeah. But that's back east. But now it's on this side of the Mississippi, and when it starts coming over here, Vegas has had a lot of time to get caught up. They should have hired guys like you and me. Nobody would have beat us. Imagine that, Brian. Seriously, if they gave you and I a sports book in Vegas, and you got all these guys with fishing hats on coming up to you with fanny packs and pounds of $100 bills on the weekend with the Budweiser in their hand, come on,
bring it.
Bring shipping and $1.10 in cash, not credit at $1.05. You're talking about $1.10 in cash wearing a fanny pack. But guys, we're getting ready to take a break. We're going to be right back. It's Oklahoma Brian, Frank Perez, 5th Street Sports. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down, 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
Hi, Rick Tittle here. You may know me as the sports talk host that can talk about all sports: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, rollerball. But this time I'm here to talk about pain. If you have pain in your knee or your back like I do, then you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. If Medicare is your primary insurance, then you could qualify for a back or knee brace at little or no charge. I have an old injury from my football playing days, and anything that can help take that pain away and make it more manageable, that has my attention. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for back, ankle, knee, or shoulder pain, please call the Health Alert Hotline at 800-428-1570. That's 800-428-1570. Agents are standing by 24/7, so go ahead and call now. 800-428-1570.
We're back here on 5th Street Sports on Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Network. It's been Oklahoma Brian and Frank Perez. Oklahoma Brian, my co-host. Okay, Brian, let's recap this really quick because we've gotten really nice selections from all parts of our show. Okay, let's recap. We got AWB, America's Worst Bettor, came in on Alabama minus 28.5, so we're going to go with Tennessee plus 28.5. Rockford came in on LSU minus 6.5. Yeah, it's always a sharp side. LSU minus 6.5. You, of course, gave out one of your Christmas in October plays, and that's the ring ceremonial game today in Golden State. We're going to take the under first quarter, under first half, dog in the first quarter, and I think you mentioned even dog and maybe in the first half. So that's a big bonus. And then, of course, I spotted out and spied out Houston today. Keuchel over in Valdi. You got anything else we could give him today to make some money?
That's all I got. But I tell you what, tomorrow, why don't we bring some season win totals? Only 4 teams start their NBA season tonight. So those 4 teams, if you want to bet their season win totals, or you're going to have to bet them tonight, essentially. But the rest of the association starts after tonight, and we will do a rundown of where the sharp money is. Some of these lines are passed, but I think as a handicapper, you always want to be aware of where the sharp money is in terms of season win totals, because it's a really good.
We got 10 seconds, brother. Let's bring this back tomorrow early on the show. Don't forget the ASPCA tomorrow, the Dog Pound. Frank Perez, Oklahoma Brian, 5th Street Sports. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific.